Hello everyone. Today I'm gonna have an interview with a very famous person. Might be national treasure. Yeah, that's the perfect word. So he is my role model after Swami Vivekananda. And well, what can I say? He is the kind of guy that you want to be friends with. Why, you ask? Because, well, if he has read so much books to this day that if you say to him, hey, can you describe this book to me, please? He will keep going on and he will go on till the last chapter, and trust me, you will enjoy it. Let's give it up for the India's own known national treasure, the booklet guy, Amrut Deshmukh. Hi.
Yeah. Hi, Siddhi. Thank you so much for such an enthusiastic introduction. And I hope I live up to your enthusiasm for next few minutes. Yeah.
It's my pleasure, of course. So, how are you?
Yeah, doing great. Reading books. That's all I can do. So monsoon reading, I enjoy monsoon reading, sitting on the window pane with a hot cup of tea in one hand and a book in the other.
Oh, same with me. I'm reading books too.
Great.
I'm right now. I'm reading a book called "The Girl Who Drank the Moon" by Kelly Barnhill.
Okay.
Going.
Yeah. Fictional work. Good.
So let's start, shall we?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So first, I want to ask, why do you like books?
See, asking why should we read is like, what's the difference between a person who doesn't read and who can't read, right? A
Oh,
person who can read but chooses not to read, then what's the difference between him and a person who is illiterate or who is blind or an animal? And hence, I think it's because of my belief system. So I strongly believe that if I'm not reading, I'm not changing, and if I'm not changing, I am not growing. And because of this strong belief, I have a burning desire to cultivate the habit of reading amongst the youth of India, like you guys.
oh, wow! That's some pretty good motivation right at the start.
Yeah.
I I I know what you were saying. I mean, I can feel what you're describing. It's almost like what you're saying. I agree with it. Yes, I do. I agree with it. So, can you tell me if you remember? Can you tell me the first book that you have read? First book.
Well, when I was a child, I think the first book was gifted by my mom. It was a story book written by Sani Guruji, Shamchi Ai. It's a Marathi classic literature book, Shamchi Ai. The first self-help book of my life, a non-fiction self-help book, was gifted to me by my elder brother after my 10th exams. And it was Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. And after
Oh,
reading that book, I went mad on my teachers, my parents, that during my 10 years of formal education in school, nobody even discussed about money matters, what is financial freedom, what is financial literacy, why rich people become richer and poor remain poor. I
oh,
had many misconceptions about wealth and richness, and so I realized I have missed something big in my formal education. My formal education is not 100%. I have to start my own parallel informal education through these non-academic books. And then came The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari by Robin Sharma, Chanakya Niti, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, Who Will Cry When You Die, Sudha Murthy, Paulo Coelho's Alchemist, or a book like Seven Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. Since then, there was no looking back. I can consider myself as an avid, voracious, crazy book lover.
okay. Wow, I have heard of The Alchemist and the book by Dale Carnegie and the book by Napoleon Hill. I have those in my home. My brother read it, and I want to read it. I'm gonna read it, but first I have to finish the book that I'm you know currently reading. I'm gonna
Sure.
read it next. Now that you have said that those were the books that made you realize your love towards them.
Yeah, Siddhi, these books are like Bibles. These are timeless epics. These are not just books. They are as good as important as the religious books, the holy grails like Gita, Quran, and Bible. So these books, like the books which I named, Think and Grow Rich or How to Win Friends and Influence People, are perennial. They are timeless epics and will be relevant for next 1,000 years. So they are must read at least once in your lifetime, or else I would say you have committed a sin.
Okay. Wow. Speaking to you, and it's been like what 2-3 minutes since I've started this interview, and I can already feel that if I did not know you, I could still say that you are a reader because no person other than a reader speaks this good.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, if you can say, what are your other hobbies? I know that you love reading. Of course, it's you can notice it. Other hobbies.
I think that's the same hobby that I converted into my full-time profession. So I don't just like to read books, but my second passion, of course, I love reading books. My real passion is sharing those big ideas, those big lessons that I learned from a book that I read recently, and share it with a lot of enthusiasm with the friends around me. That's my passion. So whatever I learn, something new, a big idea from a book, I just happen to share it with my friends on the dining table, in the train. That's my hobby since childhood, because it's a perfect win-win. I actually revise the concept by explaining it to somebody. Yeah, and the best way to internalize a concept is to teach it to somebody. And if the other person understands it, that means you have understood it very well. So with an example, with an anecdote or an illustration. This is very important, that I always make sure after reading a book, what are the three top ideas that I learned? That's all. Rest all is bonus. I don't try to remember everything from the book, but I make sure those top three ideas are shared by me. If nobody is there in front of me, I'll go to YouTube and go on Facebook Live or Instagram Live, and then you live the book. The journey doesn't
Oh,
end by turning the last page of the book. In fact, the journey begins there, where if you stop talking about it, then the book is dead and it goes out of your life, right? And so I always read and discuss. Discuss what? Not the review, not the summary of the book or the critical appraisal of the author. One big idea. That's all.
wow. Your thoughts are pretty strong. I can feel them like wives.
Good. Thank you.
And I have seen some of your different interviews, and I have got the intel information about that. You can read 1,200 words per minute.
Yes, that's true.
What? Okay. And I I also know that you read horizontally, right? So you read one line at a time as people read one word at a time.
Yeah, so there's a science. It's not a special talent, but a skill which can be learned but can't be taught. That's the irony. I'll just brief you the science behind speed reading. So the first question of doubt that comes to our mind is, will I compromise with the comprehension if I increase my reading speed? That's the biggest myth. Reading is
Oh,
comprehension. These are not two different things. If I'm reading without understanding, it's not reading. I'm looking at the black symbols on the white paper. It's not reading, right? So reading is comprehension. So it's not that if I increase my reading speed, then I will comprehend more. It's the other way around. I have to improve my comprehension skill so that as a natural consequence, my reading speed will increase. So how to improve your comprehension? So what for that, let's define what is comprehension. Comprehension is understanding the meaning of the text, right? So understanding means thinking. So actually, you have to increase your thinking speed in order to increase your reading speed. So reading speed will come as a byproduct of you increasing your thinking speed. So how to increase your thinking speed? By taking in more amount of information at a time. That will expand your thinking power. Yeah, and that's the main skill that we have to learn. So what we have to do is we should not focus on the individual words. Words are just the messengers. The message lies in those thought units of meaningful phrases. Meaningful phrases means what? Say, for example, I am talking to Siddhi. Okay, it's a complete line. But when we read, we actually are taught since childhood to focus on one word at a time. Okay, I will be read separately. Am will be read separately. To Siddhi. I am talking to Siddhi. But here, as I said, words are only messengers. The message is hidden in those meaningful phrases of more than one word. So although the word has its own meaning, but not in a bigger context. It has got a very narrow meaning. I. Okay. But I am talking now suddenly is a bigger picture than the isolated word I. So I am talking is a meaningful phrase which consists of three words. So I look at that meaning and try to visualize the picture instead of focusing on those black symbols. Are you getting my point? And now, when I
Yes.
add another meaningful phrase to it, to Siddhi. Now there are two phrases here. I am talking and to Siddhi. And when they come together, suddenly there is a complete picture in my mind. So actually, I'm seeing what I'm reading. I'm not reading actually. I'm seeing those thought units on my mental canvas through my visualization. And that's nothing but thinking. That's thinking, imagination. Yeah. So the faster I do it, the more chunks of words I process as meaningful phrases, naturally I will end up reading faster.
Wow. It's so amazing how you think, reading, makes your thinking actually better. You look around yourself in like a different way and all.
Correct.
And before you, I have heard of a famous man who reads like this, Swami Vivekanand. And would you say that he's your role model?
Yeah, 100%. Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam and Swami Vivekanand are my role models. In fact, mission make India read. I borrowed the word mission from Swami Vivekanand. So he was on a mission to spread the message of Vedant philosophy in the world, and he was pretty successful in that. So I got inspired and I borrowed this term called mission. And it's not a selfish business, but a mission, make India read. And the whole and sole purpose is to cultivate reading habit amongst the youth of India. And Booklet app is one of the stupid excuses to keep books relevant in your daily routine. So yes, I wish they both were alive. If Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam would have been alive, I'm sure he would have been the biggest evangelist of Mission Make India Read. Unfortunately, he passed away. It was my dream to meet him once in person, but I could not. But I'm very sure his dream was to see India as a developed nation. He has mentioned this fact in one of the books called India 2020. And I believe Mission Make India Read is one step towards making his dream come true. In fact, you know what, Siddhi? I pity the young American. He doesn't have a chance to make his motherland a developed nation, but we all have, right? So let's hurry up.
Wow. Uh, That's amazing. As I said earlier, your thoughts are getting stronger and stronger by the minute. I can feel it. It's like
All thanks,
vibes.
all thanks to books. And every reader naturally becomes a better orator because you never run out of words, you never run out of thoughts and ideas. Yeah, my friends have to stop me. Okay, now enough of it.
Okay. See, before developing the love for books, what did you think about them? Uh, if if you had to read a book before developing the love for books, how would you look at it?
I'm really scared of people who don't read books. Then we are defying ourselves of the biggest gift to humankind, and that is imagination. Albert Einstein has said in his one of his biography, knowledge is not power. Knowledge is not power. Imagination is. And that's the main reason why man is ruling the animal kingdom. No other animal can possess this quality of imagination. Now, what is imagination? Seeing things that do not exist, seeing the world that does not exist, right? And that's why this microphone, for example, was an imagination in somebody's mind, and later on it got manifested in the real world, right? Now, I really don't know who actually manufactured and made this microphone, but I'm banking on somebody else's imagination. This happens only in mankind, in humankind, not in other animals. So, an elephant in South Africa cannot take any advantage of an elephant in India. But we humans can take advantage of any human being in the world. So, for every generation, a new generation begins at point 100 instead of zero. Unlike other animals, every dog on the street starts his day one of his life from zero. He again starts to learn how to hunt food, how to spend the day through his mother and father. But every generation doesn't start at zero. Okay, the knowledge gets carried forward to the next generation. Like, for example, I did not make this microphone, I did not make this bottle. It is made by somebody else, so I'm banking on somebody else's knowledge. And I think books is one of the main sources of, handing over the knowledge to the next generation. There can't be better technology than that. And so, I think I just can't imagine a life without books. Is like I'm living a life of an animal without any imagination.
Whoa. Oh, wow, those are some good thoughts. The more you read, the more you think, and the more you think, the more you 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 increase your knowledge. Everything increases within you when you read a book. You become a better person by reading a book, isn't it?
100%. And I've realized that after reading 1850 books till now, I've realized that the more I know, the more I come to know that there is a lot that I don't know, right? So I often have observed that the more number of books I'm reading, the more number of books I'm leaving half read. So because of my accumulated knowledge, I can actually predict. So what's coming in next? Oh, I know this already. Let me switch the book. So as you increase your bank of knowledge, the accumulated knowledge, you will naturally tend to leave books half read, because now you do not find anything new in it. You have already learned from the previous books. And so there is nothing wrong in leaving books half read. Okay, I'm not talking about book number 1 or book number 2. I'm talking about book number 100 and 200 and 500. And I have observed this new behavior, that the more number of books I'm reading, the more I'm leaving them half read. It sounds paradoxical, but makes a lot of sense.
It does make a lot of sense. Has there ever been a book that you did not like? After you read it, you weren't satisfied with its story?
Yeah, many hundreds of books. As I said, I've left hundreds of books half read, and I don't feel guilty about it. That's the main thing. Of course, there are so many books which my friend found it relevant, but I did not. I just found it boring. See, I'll give you an example. Suppose you are a part of an audience in an auditorium, and a speaker comes on the stage, takes charge of the podium, and starts delivering his speech. But he lacks the expert domain knowledge, no charisma. The body language is very lethargic. He's wandering off the topic. As part of the audience, what will be your reaction, Siddhi? You might say, "Oh, yaar, kitna paka raha hai ye?" Yeah, that's a Mumbai language.
Yeah.
किसको कौन इसको लेके आया यार? He's so boring. And either you will try to distract yourself, you will either escape from the crowd, or you will take out your favorite instrument from your pocket, and your fingers will start dancing on the screen, right? Now the same person writes a book, and somehow it lands in your hands. I have to read word to word. Oh, are you getting my point? Same person, same message, perhaps the same message. What the guy
Yeah.
would have speaking in his lecture, he will write the same thing
Yeah.
in his book. Same person, perhaps the same message, but our whole approach towards the message changes when the medium changes. How funny is that? How come medium
Yeah.
becomes suddenly more important than the message? If you don't enjoy a lecture, it is not compulsory for you to clap and applaud that. I said, no, I'll not clap because I don't like his teachings. I did not like his oratory skills, right? But when it comes to books, we take all the blame. Oh my God, my friend liked this book, but somehow I'm losing interest after 15 pages. Something is wrong with me. I am a bad reader. But that's the biggest myth. There is nothing called good reader or bad reader. There is only reader and non-reader. That's all.
Wow. Now that you said it, I realized this, when you were little, what did you want to be?
Like any other kid, I fell in love with stories, not books, but stories with big fonts and all those pictures. And Tenali Raman, Akbar Birbal, Sherlock Holmes, Chacha Chaudhary, Vikram Vetal, Alice in Wonderland, Beauty and the Beast, Snow White, Robin Hood, stories of Rabindranath Tagore, Balgudi Days was one of my favorites. Shamchi Ai, which I mentioned, uh, Akbar Birbal was one of my favorites, the most shrewd and cunning guy I ever met in my life, Birbal. So yeah, all the stories. So as natural kid, I fell in love with stories and not books. Yeah. So I won't consider myself as a great reader since childhood. In fact, you know what? For many years, I firmly believed that Anonymous is the name of a famous poet. That naive reader I was. But I think the turning point happened after my 10th exams when I was introduced to Rich Dad Poor Dad, my first self-help book. And then I realized the power of non-fiction or self-help books. For your age, I would highly recommend a book called Who Moved My Cheese by Spencer Johnson. If you have heard this book, Who Moved My Cheese, I think it's an ideal example of a non-fiction book with a clear message, but using the power of stories. So there are four mice lost in a maze in search of cheese, and how they have used the metaphor of cheese to teach us the power of change. The changing your belief systems, changing and adapting to the new circumstances. So very, very tiny little book of 60 pages, but has broken all the world records in non-fiction genre. Needless to mention, whatever books I am naming since 15 minutes, they are summarized by me in Booklet app.
Oh, okay, okay. So you have, can you tell us some information about Make India Read, the mission?
Yeah, sure. Uh, so Booklet Guy is not a brand. Booklet Guy is not a celebrity. Booklet Guy is not a motivational speaker. Booklet Guy is not a YouTuber. Booklet Guy is a spirit that believes in the power of reading habit. Okay. Booklet Guy is a stupid reader, but of his own kind. He doesn't want to keep all the benefits of reading to himself. He wants to make use of his passion for books for the for the society, for his brothers and sisters of his
Yeah.
country. So what I do is I read these fat books which are not part of a school and college syllabus and make 20-minute summaries of them. That's my core skill. I can easily summarize a book in a day or two. And in 20 minutes, you'll get the summary of the book in text and audio. So I record it in my voice and give it for free to the whole of India through my free mobile app called Booklet. Why Booklet? A smaller version of book is called Booklet, and hence people lovingly call me as Booklet Guy. And today, 40 lakh, 4 million enthusiastic readers are part of this mission Make India Read, reading books with me. If they like the summary, they go and buy the books to dig deeper into the author's insights. And yeah, I'm enjoying every minute of my mission, because when you work on your passion, work doesn't remain work, it becomes play. And who doesn't like to play the whole day, right? So I don't have
Right.
to wait. I don't have to wait for a Sunday to enjoy. I don't have to wait for a Monday to work. They all are same for me. I really don't know today is a weekday or a weekend. Doesn't matter, because it's my call. So people who what they do during the break, read. I do it the whole day and take break from it. Right? So I think I'm living a very ideal dream come true life, where I love to do what I'm doing, and then as a byproduct, people like you benefit out of it. So what else can I expect from life?
Oh, wow. And I love that you are trying to, make children to read, and I think it's really working. You will see the results in the upcoming time, the upcoming year or something. You will see the benefit, the results one day. You can see them, starting right now.
Yeah, yeah. In fact, I would like to share one event which is vividly in my memory. It was 11 o'clock at night, and I got a call from a young girl, and she started praising my voice. So she was listening to my audio summaries regularly on Booklet app. Amrut, I love your voice. You speak so well. I listen to all your booklets. I wait for every Wednesday for your new upload. And I thought, at this hour, is this girl flirting with me? So even I decided to pull her leg, and I said, why do you always listen? At times you can read as well. Booklet app has got both the facilities, text and audio. Sometimes you can listen, sometimes you can read. You know what she said, Siddhi? She said,
What?
Amrut, I am blind. I can't read because I can't see. And I got goosebumps all over my body that, oh my God, how could I not think that there is one section in the society who can't read because they can't see? And booklet could be a boon for such kind of people. In fact, I'm getting goosebumps even now whenever I recollect that event. I That night I went to bed as the most satisfied person in this world. That's the power of a higher purpose, a life driven by a purpose. Yeah. I lost my mother when I was quite young, of your age. I lost her almost 20 years ago. And she had donated her eyes after her death. But I think I'm little luckier than my mom, that somebody can read books through my eyes while I'm alive. What else can I expect from life?
Wow. Uh, can you give a message for children to, like encourage them to start reading?
Sure. Uh, See, we are indirectly taught that, I see a particular taste in most of the readers. I read only Harry Potter. Somebody will say, I read only fiction. Some grown-ups say that I read only business related books which help me to grow my business. Now that's a very wrong way of approaching books. We should not fall in love with a particular category of books. And hence, I've written a book called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective Readers, written by me. And in that book, habit number 3 is read random. Very important quality of a reader is to expose yourself to random books. Don't fall in love with a particular category of books. Okay. Now, why I'm insisting on randomness is because randomness is the key to innovation, key to creativity. I'll give you a simple example. Some 10-15 years ago, a guy came out with an idea of putting a camera into a mobile, and his boss sacked him for coming out with such a stupid idea. Can you believe this, Siddhi? A camera in a mobile,
No,
such a hit idea of today's world. It was a there were two random things. I can empathize with the boss. Had I been in his shoes, I would have done the same thing of sacking him for such a stupid idea, because camera and mobile are completely random things. But when two random things are combined together, something innovative happens. No wonder today we take more selfies than calling. It was such a hit idea, but it was difficult for him to imagine because they were random. So you see the power of randomness. That
yeah,
creativity and innovation is in combining two random things. And so it's reading is not about collection of information. Reading is about connection of information. You have to connect one big idea with a big idea from another book, and then your high level thinking starts and discoveries and inventions happen, right? It's very important to
okay,
read random.
yeah. We are now going towards the end. Now, uh, these are some 3 questions that you're gonna have to, answer quickly. As much as you think. But before those 2 questions, I would like to ask you. You wrote books too?
Yeah. So as I said, Booklet app is completely free, and there are severe
Yeah,
costs to be covered, monthly costs, servers, rent, IT fees. So I thought, why not write a book, that too on reading habit? Since it is my responsibility to cultivate reading habit amongst the youth, I came out with this book called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective Readers. Okay. And if you try to work on those 7 habits, I promise books will never go out of your life. In fact, you'll find it very easy to make them part of your daily routine. Yeah, a few of the habits I already shared. One is read random. And habit number 1 is very interesting. Don't take reading too seriously. So I partially discussed about this idea in one of your questions. I gave you the analogy of the speaker who comes and tries to speak and you get bored. So we don't
yeah,
take these things so seriously. So if you're watching a movie, suppose, and you don't find it entertaining, you just change the channel or you just skip the video, right? So, but when it comes to books, we take it too seriously. We take all the blame, right? So when it comes to entertainment, we transfer the onus, the responsibility to entertain us on the artist, on the directors. So why not do
yeah.
the same thing in case of books? Don't you think it is also the responsibility of the author to keep you excited, to keep you engaged? It's not all your fault.
Yes,
With due respect to the
yes,
authors, my intention is not to insult the authors, but remove the guilt from your head that there is nothing called good reader or bad reader. There is only reader and non-reader. It's
yeah,
okay to leave books half read. I've left hundreds of books half read. Don't you think if I'm reading a book and I lose interest after 10-15 pages, at least the whole objective of the book was to teach you what kind of books I should not read. At least that purpose was solved. I came to know which books are not made for me, right? So draw any damn
yeah,
conclusion, but please don't conclude that something is wrong with you. So that even if you quit the book, you don't quit reading. It's okay to switch the book. There is no such rule that you have to finish the book in hand, only then you'll take the new book. No. I read 4 or 5 books at a time. I mean, not literally one in left hand and one in the other hand, but I read 4 to 5 books at a time simultaneously, depending on my mood, depending on the circumstances, depending on the convenience. Yeah. Now, in a crowded train, in a local train in Mumbai, you can't even hold a book in a crowded compartment. So the best way is to listen to audibles. My mobile is inside my pocket and my headphones are into my ears. So medium is not important. Knowledge is important. So watching YouTube's, don't you think watching Steve Jobs interview on YouTube is as good as reading part of his biography? Yes or no?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
let's expand the gamut of reading. Thanks to the disruptive nature of internet, the gamut of reading has expanded. It's no more only book in hand style of reading anymore. No. Kindle, PDF, ebooks, audibles, book summary, TED Talk, they all are part of reading now.
Yeah. Okay. Now, you know, just quick, these are two types of question that you wanna think and answer so fast. It's like I ask and you tell me direct answers. So
All right.
the first question in this one is, how many books have you read, and 3 books that you prefer the most, that you like the most? Quick
Yeah.
answers.
I've read 1,850 books, and my 850.
2, 1. Yeah. Okay. Hello, guys. So the link's time ended because of a wonderful conversation. We were having the time of the life, but the link's time ended, so we had to make up another one. So yeah, there are only 2 questions, the quick choices questions. So if you could tell me again, the you have to answer them very fast. So the question that I wanted to ask you, how many books have you read, and 3 ones that you prefer over the other ones? 3.
Yeah. So till now, I've read 1,850 books. I'm reading my 1,851st book right now. But as I said, I read 4 to 5 books at a time. My top 3 favorite books right now start with Why by Simon Sinek, Psychology of
Oh,
Money, Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel, and The Second Mountain by David Brooks. By The Second Mountain. So he uses the metaphor of 2 mountains. The first mountain is all about money, fame, career, and then there is a deep valley of suffering. And very few people climb the second mountain, which is of purpose, contribution, yeah, meaningful contribution. So very
yeah.
interesting books. So top 3 books that are my favorite as of now.
Okay, okay. Now that you have told me that you love these 3 books over the most, not love, well, you liked it. So I will read these 3 books.
Yeah.
So yeah, last question. These I'm gonna throw 2 options. It's gonna be like a quick choices thing. I'm gonna throw you 2 options, and you are going to say the one which you recommend over the other.
All right.
Should we start?
Yes. Sure.
Okay. Reading or writing?
Reading anytime.
Yeah. Marathi or English?
English.
Okay. Fiction or non-fiction?
Non-fiction.
Yeah, works better. Indian author or foreign author?
That's quite tricky. But yeah, most of the time I end up reading foreign authors more because of their in-depth research.
Okay. Okay. So these questions ended our interview, and I hope you had a nice time. And I know you spoke with your free mind, didn't you?
Yeah, 100%. And they say that good answers are completely dependent on good questions. It was your victory that you could dig out good answers from me by asking some smart questions. So all thanks to
No.
you that at this age you are a fantastic orator. You know how to articulate things and keep them simple and take out your word in the simplest form. You have an amazing accent, which I envy. So thank you so much for having me, and I'm sure people after watching it should get inspired. And if one girl or boy, after listening to us, reads at least 5 pages tonight before going to bed, I would declare mission accomplished.
Wow. Thanks, and the pleasure was all mine. So,
Welcome. Thank you so much.
thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule to have an interview with me.
Thank you so much for having me. Happy reading. Yeah, and bye bye.
Bye. Happy